In the last build video I covered a Titan's GM build using Aeon Safe Exotic, and I have to say, the performance of using that exotic for the Titan was okay, but for hunters, this is really where you want to be part of that Aeon call, and I mean really. Similar to the last build with this one, you'll be giving your team special and heavy ammo whenever you want, you'll have invisibility that will benefit you and your team whenever you need to just vanish, and at the same time, you'll get to keep a good consistent loadout of your choice, and what's even better is that you can make any changes that you need to which won't massively affect the build's performance. And now guys, this video is sponsored by Aeon, so if you are looking for some cheap reliable silver for Destiny 2, be sure to check them out below and use my code DIVIDE at checkout for a discount. Now as always, rate, comment, sub, share, and roll that intro. Okay, so in the last video, I did say it was going to be a pretty quick one, but it kind of wasn't. But in seriousness, this one is going to be fairly shorter. But as always, before we do officially start, I do have a full playlist of new builds that I create every week. So if you want to check that out, you can find the link below or in the top right card section. And if you guys are looking for a Destiny community to join, I do have a Discord server link below, which is a great place to share your builds, ideas, and discuss the game in general, as well as finding other people to play with. But now with this build, here is your quick overview of how you'd use the build. First go invisible, run up to a low health major or champion, and dodge to get your invis straight back. Perform a finisher, which will spawn either special or heavy ammo for your allies. Go invisible again if needed, and it's literally just as simple as that. You can use the Stasis Subclass as well if you want, and probably should if you have overload champions, as you can use the melee ability to stun them. But for more survivability and quick escapes, I thought the Void subclass was the best to support yourself and allies with those invisibility smoke bombs. So going over your loadout options, you of course want to use weapons that can deal with champions, so currently this season we have bows, auto rifles and pulse rifles, so adjust your kinetic and energy to what you need for the activity you're playing, but for the energy I would recommend using a fusion rifle, which you should have one of each element so you can swap out to suit the match game shield requirements. And then for that heavy, I would recommend using a 1000 voices if you got one, simply because we have the particle deconstruction mod this season. But your exotic weapon choices currently are Izanagi's Burden or Outbreak Perfected for the kinetic, Ariana's Vow, Divinity, Lorentz Driver, Vex Mythoclast, or Tiku's Divination for the energy. And for the heavy, your best choices are 1000 Voices, Sleeper Simulant, Anarchy, or the Lament. All these exotics are great for endgame content, but as for your exotic armor, we will be using Aeon Swift. We'll take a look at this very shortly, but for the subclass, you can go with Stasis or Void. I'd personally go with bottom tree Void as you get the Vanish and Smoke, where you can put yourself and allies invisible, great to use before or after doing a finisher to save yourself, as well as getting out of sticky situations when you need to. But with this, put on a Gambler's Dodge so that you can get your invis straight back after using it by dodging near an enemy. Now for your main Charge Light mods, the very first thing you're going to want is Taking Charge. This is so that we can become Charge Light when picking up orbs. Alongside this, we will be running Shield Break Charge to become Charge Light when breaking a matching shield, then Supercharge to gain an additional 2 stacks of Charge Light, making our total stacks we can hold become 4. This will mean that if Protective Light activates when we have 4 stacks, we'll have a damage resistant buff for 15 seconds, which is double the time, and it should remain active even when your shields are recovered. But the next mod is Powerful Friends, so that we can gain that plus 20 mobility, but we'll also give our allies Charger Light when we become Charger Light. Great mod all round. And lastly, we'll be running Protective Light to gain that significant damage resistance against enemies when our shields are destroyed, which will mostly last 9 seconds with 2 stacks, but 15 if you have 4 stacks. Either way, the amount of shields you break and the orbs you pick up, you should always be Charger Light, so it really shouldn't be an issue. As for the normal mods, starting with a helmet, we do have double fusion ammo finder mods, but you'll use what you need for your heavy weapon. Then for the gauntlets, we are using Aeon Swift with Sect of Insight, as this allows us to spawn special and heavy ammo when defeating certain adds. Small yellow bars will spawn special, while champions and bosses will spawn heavy ammo. An amazing underrated exotic for endgame, as you can just give your team infinite heavy ammo and make GMs a lot easier and quicker. But the mods we do have with this will be our champion mod, and then for the chest, you'll want your damage resistant mod for the activity you're playing. In most cases, Concussive Dampener will be ideal, and with this, do slot on your ammo reserve mod for again, that heavy weapon. As for the legs, if you have Powerful Friends in this slot, you'll want to run the Arc mod to activate the secondary perk from Powerful Friends. But slot on that Scavenger mod as well for your heavy weapon with this. And lastly for the class, we are running Particle Deconstruction, and you'll only use this if you are using fusion rifles, as this will weaken enemies with those fusion rifles. The current best mod in the game, but if you're running Stasis, then you can run some of those Stasis artifact mods instead. For your stats, you want to max out mobility first, then strength and recovery. Always prioritise the dodge, as that's the fastest recharging ability, so you can get your invisibility smoke bomb back much quicker. by dodging, but here is the artifact setup as always, and you shouldn't need to make too many adjustments if swapping between Void and Stasis. Now this build is extremely useful for those tougher activities where your team might have a tanky boss and a lot of major adds and champions, as you will be able to get that heavy ammo almost all the time and therefore melt everything much quicker, as you won't need to worry about running out of ammo. Of course, with only you running the Aeon Exotic, you yourself won't get the ammo drops, but it will greatly benefit your team. So guys, that is all for this quick Hunter GM build. Next you should check out the playlist for more top fun builds to use in Destiny 2, as I cover them weekly. But for now, give this one a try and I promise your team will love you for it. And do let me know down below what you think of this one, but for now, be sure to drop a rating, subscribe and share for more, and I'll see you guys as always very soon.